Hey there, guys. Alright, today we are back with some more History Matters. This time, how did France get nukes? A short animated documentary by History Matters. I really don't know the answer to this. I got some guesses, but they're probably entirely wrong, so I'm not even going to say them. Before we dive in, though, make sure you go and check out the links in the description box below. I would love it if you joined the Discord and followed me over at Twitch. Okay, let's just go ahead and dive into this video and see what the fuck is happening here.
France was the fourth nation to acquire nuclear weapons.
They don't look happy about it.
The first three had built theirs off of the work done during the Manhattan Project, with the USA doing the legwork, the USSR stealing secrets from the US via espionage, and the UK via essentially copying America's homework.
Yeah.
But France's route to becoming a nuclear power was different and fraught with its own problems. So how did
Didn't they try to actually, weren't they one of the first ones to really start the research of this, like back in the 30s or before they, got conquered by the Germans?
France do it? How did France acquire nuclear weapons? So, as of the end of World War II, France wasn't completely new to nuclear technology, and some of its own scientists had worked on the Manhattan Project under the British umbrella. So, at the end of the 1940s, the French government started a nuclear program with
Nuclear power, yo.
the help of Israeli scientists whose aid was fundamental in moving the project along. At first, the nuclear program was civilian in nature.
Oh, so they didn't get American aid. I was assuming that maybe America kind of just hooked them up. I was like, yo, you want some nukes? Here you go. We'll put some nukes in your country. Something like that. But I guess France has always been stubborn about, not really accepting help in that regard. Or especially post World War II, they've kind of, it feels as though they've taken a more, not neutral stance like the Swiss, but a more, kind of like how Britain vibes with the EU in that they want to be separate. France kind of gives the vibes of that, but with NATO, where France wants to be able to stand on its own, or really wants to do its own thing. But like Britain with the EU, Britain wants to be separate, but still included. France wants to be on its own, but still still get the benefits, but not, always give in to certain things. And of course, I can understand why they probably just lost their country, just got it back, and so maybe they don't want to feel more indebted to both the British and the American. Don't want to have that kind of rote feeling, even though it may not be true. It could be still a perceived feeling. I think that makes sense. It makes sense in my head when I'm rambling about.
And France very quickly became a world leader in the building of nuclear reactors. Naturally, having civilian nuclear power meant that nuclear armament was much easier because of all of that spare refined nuclear material just lying around. In 1956, after the Suez Crisis, France was left internationally humiliated and felt that neither the USA nor the UK could be relied upon to use their nuclear weapons in the defense of France. As such, the French...
Okay, so partially what I was saying there, where they just don't feel like they can maybe entirely trust the British and French, and / don't want to be indebted to them, or kind of an underling to them, because the US at this point in time is certainly the world power against the USSR. So yeah, that relationship there could be questionable.
French sought to build their own and briefly actively worked with West Germany and Italy to build nuclear arsenals for all three. This was scrapped when Charles de Gaulle became president in late 1958, since he wanted France's nuclear program to be as self-sufficient as possible. A side effect of this decision was that unlike the British program, the French one was incredibly expensive and was a major drain on other parts of the French military. And the reason for this was that unlike when Britain began building nuclear weapons, the US was hostile to the idea. Not hostile enough to do anything about it, but American leadership made it clear that it felt that France did not need its own nuclear weapons. And as such, they got zero help from the US, which increased the cost of the program. So why allow Britain but not France? Well, it was because France's nuclear strategy was going to be fundamentally different from Britain's. You see, Britain had largely agreed to maintain the same deterrent policy as the United States, one which called for response in kind, no escalation, and no first strike. Whereas France had different plans. French leadership believed that an invasion by the USSR could only be stopped with a nuclear retaliation, meaning the Soviets would have a choice: invade and lose half of Ukraine and Belarus, or retaliate with their own nukes.
Ew. Charles de Gaulle was very aggressive with the fucking nuke. Okay. You know what, France, I was defending you for a bit and understanding your side of things for a little bit there. Now that this is what you were wanting to do, don't agree with it.
And a Soviet nuclear attack would then force a response from the UK and the USA, since radiation doesn't care for borders, which for the French meant that they could effectively force the use of British and American arsenals if they wanted to. You can see why the two weren't so keen.
Yep, you know what? France, definitely not on your side anymore. I was trying to defend you there at the beginning of this video, the first half. Now, no.
French and Israeli scientists continued in collaboration until France had constructed and tested its first
Love Charles.
bomb in 1960.
I love Charles de Gaulle's glasses here.
The test was carried out in Algeria and was promptly followed by Israeli scientists being dismissed from the program, and also a lot of grumbling from the USSR and mild annoyance from the USA. Algeria gained its independence in 1962, but the French continued to test there until the mid-1960s, where they changed their primary testing site to French Polynesia. By 1964, France had its first operational nuclear weapons and would go on to expand its arsenal throughout the Cold War. And thus, the French had, despite varying levels of opposition from the other nuclear powers, joined the club as its fourth member. I hope you enjoyed this episode and...
Okay. And again, somehow in the short time span of just 3 minutes, History Matters is able to put in such an astonishing amount of contextual information on the feelings of multiple nations at this time period. They do it so fast, but they do it so smoothly. So well done. So that was how France got nukes. A short animated documentary by History Matters. I hope you guys enjoyed. Remember to hit that like button and subscribe for more. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.